a week of people trying to compare this scene to Naruto and trying to say that it's just going to be the exact same as Naruto's backstory with his demon and what's going on with the Ichigo and Ichigo's training up. It does not seem to be correct to either of them. Similarities in very, very brief concepts does not lead into facts about the actual story and the plot, and we got just that this chapter. So we knew that we were going to be leading into backstory on the anti-magic devil. We did get a name for him. Very happy about that. Like, out of all the stuff we got out of this, I still will put my favorite thing in relations to this chapter was having a name for him, because I could have waited for more information on his backstory. I don't think his full story is over. There's probably some more stuff that we could get out of this, but also I was happy for it. Like, obviously I wanted to know more about him, but I really wanted to get a backstory for this character, very much so. But the name, just getting the name is so satisfying in of itself, because of the fact that we don't have to call him the anti-magic devil anymore. But like the word devil, at least like people came up with a nice little nickname like Weevil, but still. So we get into this chapter. We have information on devils, like essentially like in the devil world, in the underworld. They're born, we don't really know how. I'm wondering if they breed similar to humans, or if there's like some way that they just kind of form, or some like area specifically that demons are born in from, you know, in the underworld. Or maybe there's just one demon that ends up creating more. Like the devils, there's still information we can get about them. Like, it's not all like given in this one chapter, but we do get a good amount of just basic understanding of what their world is like, and what these guys all kind of just, how their world is constructed and aspects of their lives go. Like the anti-magic devil, or Libe, explains how when devils are born, they pretty much have a place within the pecking order, and it doesn't change. The anti-magic devil seems to be the only one that is an exclusion to that rule to a degree, but we don't know like why exactly it is. Like, it's like, how is he so much stronger now? Does it have to do with Asta? Is it purely because he got this grimoire? There's events that still we need to get information on, and it's still, we're not going to get everything at the same time. But this, I think, is still really good to get right now. Like, again, I'm very, very happy about this. There's a lot really that we can look at, and you got answers to some questions while having new questions opened up in the meantime. But the anti-magic devil, or again, Libe, see, I'm not even used to calling him Libe yet, but he was born without magic, so he was bullied by other devils. You know, he was tortured and pretty much just beat up on and tormented all the time. And he's like saying how one day, like a really like a high up devil was upset and pretty much picked him up and threw him at the gate to the underworld, and like expected him pretty much just to splatter on it and die. But because he had no magic, he had no mana, he just passed right through it and ended up inside of the human world, and where he kind of just wandered around and was both feared and chased out by humans. Like, they're gonna be afraid of him. It's unfortunate, but it's kind of understandable, because they know that devils are extremely dangerous. They probably never met one like him that didn't like try and come off as hostile and just kind of was like trying to find somewhere to be. And it's weird to think about, because like all the devils, obviously their world is being cruel and violent towards the ones below them, and when you're the lowest at the very bottom, you're never going to develop that malicious personality. So really, he was the only one that they probably meet that regularly would be non-hostile to them. There's gonna be an absurdly higher amount of aggressive devils than there are ones like this. Like, the only other way I could see in a devil like being non-aggressive is one that is, you know, won over by that ritual, like, you know, like Nox devil. Like, they seem like they're pretty all right with humans because you know, of their position and, you know, pretty much working for them now. But as it is now, we have oh well, I guess not even now, like now in the story in this chapter, but still flashback for years and years prior, we see Libe like wake up, and it's Lucido, who is, I feel like it's obvious this is Asta's mom. Some people are speculating it isn't. I mean, like, that not only the hair but the face, she's wearing essentially chapter 1 Asta's outfit to a degree, and she just has that similar kind of like very caring and straightforward personality that Asta has. And again, I like that a lot. And it gives us a chance later that Asta could find out what his mother was like, because Asta obviously was an orphan. He never knew his parents, but if he makes friends with Libe, then there is the chance that he can find out about his mother, find out about like the person he never got to meet. And Asta is thankful. Asta's a very humble guy for the most part. The only time he likes to brag when it comes to Yuno, but Asta is, for the most part, is very humble, and again, like I said, very appreciative. So even if he never met his mom, there's still going to be things that he really is going to be moved by finding out about, and I am looking forward to that. We also get stuff about like her magic, which again, also her magic explains a lot about why she would have to get rid of Asta, but also why he's like the way he is. She says that like her magic pretty much has it so her body steals magic and life from other people, from other creatures. Like there's a snake that comes up near her and just has its power kind of like taken out of its body, just absorbed into her, and she's just fine. And she explains how in this scenario you have like a devil who doesn't have magic, and because he's a devil he doesn't have life force, and it's only because of that she's able to be around him just fine. And she's like, oh, like it's fate, maybe like he could be like her child, because we see in this a flashback, like a scene of her dropping off a basket at a front door. Again, that's more stuff. I feel like it's obvious that it's Asta, but it makes sense because keep her in mind, her whole life has probably been just absolutely demonized by other people, because if she can take magic and life force around others, like they're going to be afraid of her and they're not going to want to go anywhere near her. And she finally has a child. She has somebody that, you know, logically would be around her all the time, but because of her powers, she's dangerous to Asta. She'd be dangerous to him and she'd have to give him up. That'd probably be really painful, but at the same time she'd be doing, you know, like a mother's thing of doing what she thought is best for her child. And now she suddenly found this damaged devil child that she's able to be around without her magic affecting. Like her ability is not going to do any damage to him, and she's just happy. And it's really nice to see both of them. Like for him, this is the first time that anyone's probably ever really been nice to him, and for her, now she has somebody to be with, so she's not going to be alone. And it was because of this scenario, like Lucifero took over his body, and I liked it when Lucifero, like the image of him kind of like goes over part of his face. It's not just like an energy on him and then it's like his face. You can, or Libe's face, you can see the outline. It's like Lucifero. It's a different eye shape, like with these weird swirling cracks. You can see his horns. Obviously he's got different horns than Asta, or not, sorry, than Asta, than Libe. And it's because of this this whole setup that leads to further points in the story. Like Lucina's not really, you know, she's not feeling this guy like taking over Libe's body. He's just like, whatever. We know that the devils love killing humans, they love going after humans, so he's just double happy in this scenario of this devil that is able to exist in the human world, but also a human for her to kill, or for him to kill. And during all this, like the last moments, like we have Lucina, because her curse can drain magic and life force, but her magic is she can use her magic to essentially put mana and things inside of other things. So she ends up putting Libe inside of the 5-leaf grimoire, this being Lick's grimoire. She says she found, it was just kind of coincidence, because she brings up like coincidentally she came across the 5-leaf Clover grimoire, and then days later a devil. It's just sad to think for her, because she was so happy she finally found something, and now this is happening, and just like death and finally being completely like separated from the thing that made her happy. And it's cool because like we thought that the memory we saw of her like right before Asta went berserk was we thought it was Asta. We thought it's Asta's memories, but it was actually Libe's, and it means that it was Libe the one that like flared up and took over, you know, just drove Asta into like a rage, and he's just pissed off. Like we know now why he's doing everything, what his motivation is, and he's not. You can tell that it's a swap between, he doesn't want to kill Asta. I'm guessing he knows of Asta's relation to Lucida. I think he knows that this is her son, but he also wants to get revenge on the devils, because we know Asta read his key and know that he doesn't want to kill him. But he's like saying how all devils are scum and he wants to kill every last one of them, even if he has to take over Asta's body. So again, it makes sense on both fronts. And I like that a lot about him. I think he's very interesting, and I definitely want to see where this goes. And it's also why I think Asta isn't going to win this situation in terms of like a combat. I think he's going to have more of a like personal kind of conversation with him, get, you know, have like an emotional victory, and it's going to be more about him winning him over as a person and not like beating him up and kind of like showing dominance. And I think that'll be better for their relationship as characters, instead of it being like a master and servant relationship. It's kind of like a partnership, and I think that's exactly that really ties into Lucida's set too, because they're pretty much stepbrothers, and I think it would make more sense for them to have like a duality, kind of like, you know, again, partnership between themselves, instead of kind of like, again, a controlled demon and the guy who's, you know, holding the chain. But anyway, other than that though, comment below, thumbs up the video, but burn the like button, subscribe button, and check out my other videos. But other than that, I appreciate everybody's already subscribed, and I thank you all for listening. Bye.